Boys, girls, all my traumaholics out there, welcome back to Other Robert. I'm Joe. It's just me tonight, unfortunately. Rob is unable to be here for this week's review, so we're just gonna talk some Once Upon a Time tonight. Just gonna get it out there right away. Good episode, right? I mean, at first half of the episode, didn't know where we were going with what eventually turned out to be the flashbacks. It looked like they were going the lost route. And for those of you who know what I'm talking about, the show ended years ago, so spoiler. um, it was kind of the last season of Lost. That they were doing something different with kind of a side kind of storyline going on with all the characters. No one really knew what it was, and then it was kind of its own thing. I thought that's what they were doing here with Snow and Charming. I thought it was going to be some kind of other world where they broke the curse in a different way. It was kind of weird, but then at the end you see it's actually a flashback, and it becomes relevant for the episode. And I thought that was a nice little touch, especially since if you have seen Lost, I feel like there were some Lost vibes with what they were doing there, and it turned out to be a pretty good flashback and a good hook for the rest of the episode. Wondering what this is, you know. Um, we also had a little bit of, excuse me, I'm gonna be all over the place here, right? Because Rob's usually the one that kind of keeps me organized, and there's no Rob here, so I'm just gonna just kind of go, I guess, where my little heart takes me. But we saw Tiger Lily with Neverland. We knew we were getting Tiger Lily, and I had kind of hated on it when Tiger Lily was announced and everything that was going to be coming up. It's like, okay, why this late when the show is supposed to be maybe ending? Why introduce Tiger Lily? But it worked with what they were doing. However, what were they doing? With Hook in Neverland, that excuse me, that seemed like a really pointless kind of side attraction. I mean, it kept Hook away, I guess, to amp up for when he returned, which he did. Very anti-climactic the way they did it. But he just goes to Neverland. Blackbeard was gone. he went off last week, and then Tiger Lily comes in. Doesn't serve much of a purpose. I don't understand what the whole war was between Tiger Lily and the Lost Boys. I mean, it has to be coming back, right? I mean, that couldn't have been it. That couldn't have just been the entire arc. That has to be brought up again, right? They can't just do that, right? Just oh, don't worry, this war is happening off screen or something. I mean, why have it if they're not going to get back to it, right? So I think it's excuse me, too early to tell for now what to make out of that part of the episode, because who knows where they're going with the whole Hook thing. I think that was more kind of setting it up for the end. Maybe with this final battle, what we get is Black Fairy having kind of the Lost Boys as her kind of army. I can see that at this point. I don't know how. I don't know why they would tie that in or how they would tie that in. But I mean, I also didn't know how they're going to get Hook back, and Hamlet just opened up a door, literally opened up a door, got Hook, came back. So all the build up for weeks. Oh, Hook can't come back. There's a curse. He can't come back. Okay. He came back very easily. So let's just, I'm going to keep going over the episode, but at the same time, I'm just going to go over some of your comments. Andrew Grieve, where's Robert? Unfortunately, he's not here this week. Today being Easter, he is celebrating Easter. Unfortunately, he was unable to watch the show when it, excuse me, when it aired. So unfortunately, just me this week. Rebecca Cook, unexpectedly loved this episode. Me too. And you said unexpectedly, right? And I think that was the first half of the episode. I didn't know where this was going. I thought, like I said, they were building up to a whole kind of side story with, oh, but there's this alternate reality thing where the curse originally was broken in a different way in season one. But obviously that got shut down with the flashback. But you just didn't know where it was going. And it was it seemed like it would have been really easy for them to mess up. And I thought they did a fine job, and it worked with having the whole town there, and then at the end with the heart and all of them sharing the curse, and it was a pretty sweet moment, and one that kind of felt out of place because we haven't, although we've seen these characters, we've seen Grumpy, we've seen Jiminy Cricket, we've seen all them. Excuse me. It's just it felt kind of out of place with having all of them there at once because we don't see that too often anymore, you know? So, it was nice to see them all kind of back together again, though, with Geppetto being there and Grumpy and everyone being there. It was a nice moment, and it made sense for where they're going with the story, and it was just that's, I think, where the focus should be. If the show really is ending, kind of bringing just back these characters that we knew that we grew to love along the way, right? And that's why I had a problem originally with Tiger Lily being introduced. Why introduce these new protagonist characters if we already have such a arsenal of characters that we already grew to love and that we would want to see kind of on our way out here. But we also have an episode, have a comment, Jacob Herrera. I'm so excited for the next episode with the Tin Man and the Cowardly Lion. Yes, I've been talking about that since season 3. Me and Rob started reviewing episodes together in season 4, and I was saying right away, I want the Scarecrow, I want the Thin Man, and I want Cowardly Lion. And we got Scarecrow, and excuse me, and I was waiting for the other two. So it's gonna be cool to see them next week. It's gonna be a long time coming. I think those are characters that definitely could have been a big part of the season 3B arc with the Wicked Witch being the villain. I definitely think that could have been they definitely could have been some pretty good characters. Rumple's wig was hilarious. Brianna Huck. Uh, let's see what else do we have here. 10:15 Angelina. Did you like how they woke Snow and Charming? I thought it was cute. Yeah, yeah. It was a very what's the word? It made sense, right? And it was a sweet moment looking back at just the show in general, and everyone, like I was just saying, that we grew to really love as characters, and having them all together save the two biggest heroes in the show, or two of the biggest heroes in the show. It was just it was a nice moment, and I think it's one that unfortunately kind of got lost in the shuffle, kind of got glossed over a little bit. But I think it was a very sweet moment, and having Regina being the one to kind of lead that, I think that was a great scene. It was definitely a great scene. One thing I will say though, unfortunately, one of the main things I did say the excuse me, the hook with the Neverland thing. I'm not gonna hate on that too much yet because I want to see where that's going. I definitely don't think that's done. Um, but the ending I did not like. If it was very anticlimactic with the Black Fairy and Rumpelstiltskin having their encounter, with Rumple basically saying, "I know you were trying to control Gideon or Voldemort." Um, it was very anticlimactic for an episode that really picked up to be something special, and especially with that flashback and just the way that was presented. The episode felt different, and to kind of have that kind of tarnished with just a very flat ending was unfortunate because I think the whole episode was good. We get to the ending and just kind of left off on a flat note. So, um, unfortunately, that was the part that uh, I did not like. Uh, Danielle Musella, I have a feeling Robert isn't going to be happy about how they woke up Stone Charming. He's been saying he wants them to have a diminished role on the show for a while. Yeah. However, I mean, I haven't. Rob has not seen the episode to my knowledge yet, um, so I haven't spoken to Rob about how he feels about any of the episode, let alone that specifically. However, I could see him being okay with it just because we're nearing the end and there are only a few more episodes left. So at this point, if this is the last season, have them together kind of for the last few episodes. It'll be fine. Especially we got the musical episode coming, and I feel like there's got to be a a song with the two of them, right? There has to be. So, I mean, I think it was time. I definitely think it was time. Um, why would the Lost Boys be worse with Pan gone? Good question. Maybe Pan was kind of just, the, he was their leader, and he kind of controlled the chaos in a way um, to follow him. And maybe without that leader, either one kind of took over his position, who is more um, just kind of chaotic, I guess, or complete anarchy kind of happened without Pan. So I'm thinking that they're not as controlled and following an agenda, if that makes sense, as much as when Pan was leading them. Uh, so, Daniel Marcel, please don't tell me you have the flu. No, I'm just allergies. But unfortunately, I am coughing, so I am sorry for that. Is Aladdin's storyline basically done by To Play Cool 21? Right? What is going on with that? I mean, it. I could see it being done. I mean, the way it ended, okay, I get it. I don't really see where they would go from there at this point. And like I said, if it's hard to comment on all this because we don't know if the show's ending. It's safe to say that I think it is. So we had the Aladdin story that kind of seemed like it's done. I'd be okay with it if that was done. Let's start wrapping up some other things. Let's see kind of the characters that we grew to love like a couple more times. Let's work toward an end here. How old is the Black Fairy? Good question. Uh, Rob might know the answer. I'm assuming you mean the character, not the actress. Um, I don't know. Rob actually might know the answer to that one. Um, Lucas Cassin, they should have a big war, and yeah, I think they should, and I think that would make sense with the Lost Boys, right? You have the Black Fairy. I don't know how it would make sense storyline wise, but you would have an army there. If you have the Black Fairy leading the Lost Boys in some sense, I did say a few weeks ago when we saw the Gideon flashback, it seemed like what she was leading was kind of Lost Boys, even though they weren't. It seemed like that kind of feel, so I could see her maybe becoming a leader somehow. I don't know. Like I said, the story can just change quickly that I can see them do that. I just would want to see them do that because for the final battle, it would give us a battle. If you have the Black Fairy leading an entire army full of Lost Boys against the townspeople, that's something I could get behind, right? That's something that feels very final battle. So hopefully that is something that might happen. Kevin C. There's only 4 episodes left this season. That's right. Excuse me. And that's why I think the Aladdin story should be done. And I don't know what they're doing with this Neverland thing. I keep saying my theory. Maybe that's it. But if not, I don't see the point in why that was here. Brianna Huck, can't wait for the musical episode because it's on my birthday. Happy almost birthday. Greg Levrone, is it possible that the show may not be ending more like them closing out some minor storylines? Always possible, absolutely. As of right now, I don't believe they're renewed though, officially. So this could be the final battle for now, and then the theories are that if there's season 7, it's going to have an older Henry. So maybe it's the final battle for now, and then if there's season 7, it's kind of an epilogue scenario. But to me, this feels like a last season. Everything seems pretty final. It seems like they're wrapping up a lot of stories and then opening a lot of stories with Neverland. Stephen Crossio, let's say if the Black Fairy dies in the finale, does that mean that's it for Storybrooke? They kind of seemed. Black Fairy was saying if her and Rumple go at it, there will be no more Storybrooke. That there will be no more town. So I think, excuse me, I think Black Fairy dies, she's bringing down a lot of town with her. Uh, so, and again, yeah, Rebecca Cook, the final battle better be epic. The battle scenes in the show are not quite up to par. Absolutely. I really don't think they've ever really had a battle scene that they hyped that lived to expectations. So, not to say that the choreography is bad. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I liked a few episodes ago where David and his the king had the fencing, had the sword fight. I love that. I thought that was great. I thought the choreography was great, but that wasn't a battle. When it comes to these battles, we don't really get that, and that's unfortunate, especially if they're going to advertise the final battle. It should be something pretty big. Do you think there will be a spin-off? No, I think they tried that with Wonderland, and I think it flopped. Um, Unfortunately, I think they're nearing the end. Unfortunately, I think they're nearing the end for Once Upon a Time in general. Once Upon a Time in Oz, Jacob Herrera. Yeah, I love that idea. I think that's a fantastic idea. Do I think it's gonna happen though? No. I would like it though, absolutely. I think Oz in the show has come off very well, even though it'll be very CGI, right? I mean, we all know that, but I think it looks nice, um, and I think the characters are fun, and the characters there's so much there to do with the spinoff show. Even if it was to be one season, I think it would be um, worth a shot. If season 7 does happen and Henry Snow and Charming are done, how will their stories end? Well, excuse me. I don't know. As for Snow and Charming, however, I do believe that Henry would be recast as older. I do think if this is not the final season after all the final battle hype, then we're coming back maybe 10 years down the road or something. So I think there'll be a time skip if the show does continue after season 6. But at this point, I don't think it will. I would like it if the last 2 episodes use flash forwards instead of show what happens to everyone. I think that's a fantastic idea, Kevin. That's a great idea. Excuse me. Uh, Sounds very Parks and Rec. If anybody has seen the ending to Parks and Rec, something like that with this, I think would work wonderfully. Um, Jacob Herrera, Once Upon a Time in Underworld with The Nightmare Before Christmas. Yes, I can't believe if the show ends this season and we never got a Nightmare Before Christmas episode, that's an injustice because I think that is perfect. That's something that needs to happen. I've been preaching that for years. Um, which side will Rumple join in the finale? Stephen Crossio. I think he's got to join the side of evil. Do I think he will? No, I don't think so. But for his character, it makes the most sense. We've seen him. He's the dark one. We've seen him try and be good at times, and it never works. Always cycles back. For the character, he needs to be on the evil side here. I mean, that's who he is, and we saw him and Regina essentially. We've seen their evolution, and we've seen Regina become a hero, and we've seen him always go back. And I think that's his thing. And if he was on the side of the heroes here, although it may not mean he is a hero necessarily, it's still I feel like it would be out of place for the character. Even if Black Fairy is on the other side and he's got he's got a reason to hate the Black Fairy, I still think that he needs to be on the side of evil. Um, Daniel Musella, for a minute, it looked like everyone would be out during the lead up to the final battle. That would have made sense as to why Regina wasn't in Emma's earlier visions. I'm not sure what that means. Rebecca Cook, A&E wrapped up Lost pretty well, so if this is the end, I have faith they will do the same with Once. Absolutely, yeah, no, I agree completely. That's a great point. Daniel Musella, I like Nightmare Before Christmas too. Jack Skellington's world would tie in nicely with Rumble, so would the Black Cauldron. Absolutely, absolutely. The just the environment for that episode. I could see it being beautiful. Um, what I think would work nice too is when they did the Frankenstein episode. It felt kind of, excuse me, kind of out of place for the show at the time. But I think something like that would work beautifully with Nightmare Before Christmas. That was kind of devoid of color and everything. Do that with Nightmare Before Christmas. I think you'd have a fantastic episode. Maybe leave it black and white until you get to the excuse me, to the Christmas aspects. Kind of like the movie Nightmare Before Christmas is very dark, dreary, until you get to the Christmas parts of the movie and they really pop. So okay, Dan Musella, if they brought back any of the Untold stories, I'd love to find out that Rumpel gave Dorian Gray's cursed painting. Dorian Gray. Is that 50 Shades? Is that 50 Shades Gray? I don't know. I've never seen 50 Shades, but I don't know. That's what it sounds like. Um, Mr. Hyde would be perfect here, but they had to kill him 6 episodes in. So much potential. Absolutely, Lucas. I think he could have been a major player in this season, especially if it is the final season, if they kept him around. And I have no idea why they killed him as a plot device for the evil queen, which ultimately really didn't need to have much. It didn't need to be there. Um, so I don't know. Andrew Greedy, the closest I ever got to seeing Nightmare Before Christmas was going to that world in Kingdom Hearts. Yes, and that world in Kingdom Hearts, especially, I don't know if it's, I don't think it's the same in both games, but in Kingdom Hearts 2 specifically, I thought they nailed it. They did very good with that. If I remember correctly, it was just Halloween in the first one, and then the second one they had both Halloween and Christmas. Um, but yeah, absolutely fantastic. Highly recommend the movie if you haven't seen it. It's, it's actually one of my favorite Disney movies, if not number one. Um, so to me, I just think the animation's beautiful in Nightmare Before Christmas. I think if they were to do that Once Upon a Time, it would come off very nicely. I think they would do a fantastic job with Nightmare Before Christmas. Um, why are Zelina and the Black Fairy battling in the mines, and whose heart is that Zelina takes out of the box? Um, don't know about the heart, but why are why are they fighting? I don't know. It gives Selena something to do. Maybe, and I hate to keep saying this, if this is the final season, maybe this is her way to her happy ending. Maybe this is going to be the moment where she gets it. Maybe she, I don't know, has a nice ending. I don't know what to kind of think here, but I'm thinking maybe if she has her last kind of big moment, excuse me, then that's it for her. So I'm curious, especially with as someone else had commented earlier, 4 episodes left. Using one on Zelina's character, I feel like that's got to be it for Zelina's character. I believe it looks like the Tin Man's heart, and it is the Selena's episode. They should put What's This, Jack's Lament, or Sally's Song into the musical episode. Yes, yes, absolutely. Jack's Lament is, oh my god, if they brought that into Once Upon a Time, that'd be good. That would definitely be good. Said this before, but I feel like they could use the Untold Stories. They could use the Untold Stories could fill a season by itself. Yeah, with without doubt. I thought that's what they were going to do with season 6. That's what they were kind of advertising. Um, it was a good concept, but then they really never went anywhere with it. They did a few episodes of it, but it really lost steam and it kind of had no point. And then when High died, it was just it felt gone. Plus, I think it was kind of, although there were some good ideas, I like the Count of Monte Cristo episode. Some other ones were just really not um, like Cinderella's sister. And I think that was kind of pointless. Surprised they never did Hunchback of Notre Dame. I feel like that would have been a perfect untold story um, moment. Ultimate sacrifice in the teaser. Do you think that means Lena will die? Will die. I kind of think so, and I think that might be her happy ending, even though it seems dark. I think that she'll go out a hero, and um, she'll have a nice kind of ending. I think they could do it well, and excuse me. I think that's I do think that might be the end for Selena. And if she is getting this whole big episode, and you do see her fighting the Black Fairy, then I mean, what better time if you're going to do it? Um, I wanted them to have Dracula as an untold story. That would have been cool. Absolutely. Like I said, I saw Hunchback Notre Dame, Dracula, and Sherlock Holmes. I saw those three definitely being characters that they were going to tackle, but they wound up not doing any of those three. And like I said, the untold story thing kind of died out. So, two play Cool 21. Selena will be in the musical episode, though. Oh, I didn't even know that. So I guess Selena is not done. Um, uh, oh, okay. There goes my theory. But I think that would have been a good time if she is getting this whole big episode to herself, and you see her fighting the Black Fairy. Then I think that would have been good. 10:15. Angela, who is your favorite character? Um, Regina is such a strong character who's evolved so much in the show. Uh, but Hook is also one as well that's a strong character. And then Rumpel, I don't know if it's the character or just really Robert Carlyle does just a fantastic job with the character. Um, they also forgot to do the Emperor's New Groove. That would have been a good one too. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of things they could have done with, especially the untold stories. Um, right. Excuse me. Stephen Crosio, were you disappointed when the Dark Curse thing was a flashback set time travel? No, I thought it was a good idea. I thought it was different. Um, Especially I mentioned it earlier, and some other people have been mentioning it, but um, where was I going with that? Oh my god! See, without Rob here, I just I lose my train of thought. Uh, oh, okay, yeah, it's gone. uh, I love the snarky and sarcastic characters because that's me. That's 10:15 Angelina. So Selena, I feel like it is the main character with that right now. uh, Maybe the Black Fairy will bring out fantastic beasts, and Emma has to know where to find them. And there's already Voldemort in the show, so that's perfect. Once Upon a Potter. Yes, there we go. Hashtag Once Upon a Potter. Zelina has a solo in the musical episode. Kind of hard for her to sing if she's dead. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So she is in the episode. Okay. Had no idea. So there went my entire theory. So uh, I wonder if the Black Fairy has Horcruxes. She is so old. Gideon's Voldemort. Who should the Black Fairy be? Uh, what Bellatrix was that? Was who was the Helena Bonham Carter? Helena Bonham Carter character. I think Bellatrix, right? That was. I think that was. Yeah. Okay. There we go. Captain Swan Forever. The Black Fairy should be Bellatrix. There we go. Do you like the actress who plays the Black Fairy? She's growing on me. I think this episode, she's kind of. I think she needs more. I think we've seen her a little bit the past couple episodes. I think she really needs more and something deeper to really sink her teeth into. But I think she's definitely got the potential. Why are they bringing new characters like Cowardly Lion? Pointless if the show's ending. Yeah, exactly, Emily. That's what I've been saying. Especially like Tiger Lily. We had this episode. I would rather them kind of end the characters that we like, give us their endings, the town and everything. So they bring back the Knave, right? Whatever happened to him? End his story. Gideon is evil. Remember the black fairy said Parvati wants to help mommy. I don't think he is. I think I think he is good. I think he wants to see her fall. Tiger Lily in a couple more episodes. Haven't seen the last of her. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think we're gonna. That's why they set up this war with the Lost Boys. I'm starting to think that the Black Fairy will lead a army of Lost Boys in this final battle. If it really will be a final battle, I mean, how many times have we heard that there's gonna be a battle and then there's not? Uh, so, but I think I'm gonna start wrapping up this week's discussion of Once Upon a Time. Once again, guys, sorry that Rob could not be here. Uh, excuse me. Sorry that Rob could not be here. And hope you guys enjoyed um, it without him, at least. And hopefully we'll be seeing you next week when it's me and Rob back, and you guys are still commenting. Oh, the proposal. The proposal. We have to mention the proposal just for one brief moment. That was fantastic, right? I mean, that was, although it felt rushed when he came back, it it felt right, right? It felt like finally, and it was a charming moment. It was a sweet moment. So I did want to mention the proposal, but all right, that's it for this review. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed it without Rob. Rob should be back next week, and we will discuss next week's episode together. Let me know your thoughts on this week's episode down below. Even after this live stream's over, you can keep going, and we'll talk about. We'll continue to talk about it. So until next time, subscribe because it takes around that much effort to do so. Until next time, been traumatized.